security specialist, licensed armed private security officer, skilled marksman. Bryant Arnold wears many hats. Those are in addition to the black cap his fans are used to seeing him wearing on the Sky Discovery series Curse of Skinwalker Ranch. Still, Bryant's straight-laced persona means there's a lot that viewers are unlikely to know about him. What was his personal path onto the show? How does he assist in the ongoing investigations into possibly the world's most paranormal place? Oh, and why is he nicknamed Dragon? Read on as Sky in 2016. Bryant heard some surprising news from businessman Brandon Fugel, a friend for more than 2 decades. Apparently, Brandon had agreed to buy Skinwalker Ranch, a 512-acre plot of land in a remote, desert-laden spot of northern Utah. The property is named after the Skinwalker, a legendary, shape-shifting creature said to haunt the site as well as the wider Uinta Basin. Brandon asked Bryant if he would like to become head of security at the ranch. Bryant was a promising candidate for the position, having carried out private security work for Brandon in the past. Bryant had also long followed an outdoorsy lifestyle and associated with gun-toting hunters. However, he did lack a law enforcement background, and so had to learn quickly how to get to grips with his new role. Bryant admits it's a question he is often asked, but he has also been forthcoming about the answer, even if it is a long story. Before Brandon acquired the ranch, it was owned by real estate magnate Robert Bigelow from 1996 to 2016. During the Bigelow years, an overzealous security guard at the ranch came to be disparagingly branded Dragon. Shortly after Skinwalker Ranch passed into Brandon's hands, an authorized visitor to the site met Bryant but mistook him for Dragon. This inadvertent new moniker for Bryant caught on, though he has claimed never to refer to himself by that name compared to many other cast members on the show. Dragon is not as hands-on in the day-to-day investigative work taking place on the property. However, he plays a crucial role in securing its perimeter. This helps to ensure that the on-site scientists like Travis Taylor and Eric Bard can get on with their research work uninterrupted. So, Dragon routinely patrols the site to keep an eye out for budding trespassers. He is not only head of security, but also a safety officer. In the latter guise, he supervises the investigations to protect participants' welfare. Bryant has been very secretive about his personal life, even on his socials. However, earlier this year, he broke the news that he was unable to participate in the filming of Curse of Skinwalker Ranch Season 6. As Bryant revealed on the show's official Instagram account, he took time out due to personal matters involving the health and care of my son. He added, "I want to assure everyone that I'm still very much a part of the team and fully support the ongoing investigation." Bryant was initially skeptical about the spooky tales, including UFO sightings, poltergeist activity, and inexplicably mutilated cattle, often told about the ranch. Since then, he has gone from a skeptic to a believer to an experiencer. Here are just some moments on the show where Dragon's advice, expertise, even heroism, have impressively come to the fore. Over the years, the ranch's rocky mesa has seen many drilling operations. While one is underway in the 3rd season's 7th episode, Full Metal Mesa, Dragon and ranch caretaker Tom Lewis head to Homestead 2. While they are there, Tom suddenly blacks out. He reports numbness in his left arm, convincing Dragon that something cardiac-related is to blame. He acts quickly to ensure Tom is escorted off the ranch and to the Uinta Basin Medical Center. In the 5th season's 7th episode, The Cone Zone, a laser beam shot straight upwards in the triangle stops at roughly 2,000 feet. Dragon suggests firing a rocket towards that endpoint. This rocket veers wildly off course helping the team to ascertain the presence of a cone-shaped anomaly above the triangle. The air at Skinwalker Ranch, pale light of dawn, creeping over ridges that seemed older than memory, settled into restless silence. Pale fog clung low, coiling through the sagebrush, smelling of damp earth and something other, something ancient. No voice dared disturb that hush. Movement was quieter than a footstep. My vision always found him. Bryant, Dragon Arnold, silent, lithe, watching. He appeared in fragments, seen through the corner of an eye. Tall, lean, silhouette defined by backpack straps and the subtle glint of a tracking device. Forearms marked with inked spirals, half hidden under rolled sleeves. A tattoo of a serpent coiling toward a star, something unspoken in form, ancient in meaning. He moved with a steady, unhurried precision, limbs bending at angles that spoke of both grace and something predatory. Rumors tied to that name had snaked through the crew long before I even stepped onto the dusty drive. He'd walked away from institutions that worshiped data as God. Somehow, he carried neither title nor curriculum vitae, only the unshakable impression of one who possessed knowledge older than any textbook. Others watched him wary but respectful, as though he bore a charge beyond ordinary human reach. The kind of charge that cracked the space around him, that made the denser air tremble when he passed. I found myself tracing his steps later that evening, in half-light. When distant lights asked above the butt, silver ribbons beyond understanding, he knelt in the dirt, the contours of his jaw clenched in concentration. Fingers grazed soil. A laser pointer flicked into the sky, only just visible. He traced, recorded, calculated, while I stood back, held by the hush of his purpose. The hum of instrumentation fared no calmer than the tightness in my chest. Nothing needed saying to understand that this moment was both crucial and forbidden. Late one night, a half-remembered sound, like drumming or hushed chanting, rippled through the lab. Equipment overworked on signals. Readings skewed. I edged toward the sensor bank. There he was, crouched, eyes fixed on a monitor that flickered with static and shapes unimaginable. He tilted his head at angles that suggested recognition of something buried in the pulses. His expression, never loud, betrayed a shifting gravity. He paused. A deep exhale that rippled outward rather than within. Micro-movements in his shoulders. My heartbeat roared in contrast to his inner calm. Once, on a moonless sweep of dark, while checking the perimeter, I glimpsed him far out among the cattle fences, bathed in starlight that made his hair flash pale. He crouched behind a fence post, gaze on some point in the scrub, where the night throbbed. No flashlight, no radio, only breath that came in measured whispers, and then the faint tremor of something moving. Something neither cow nor coyote, just perched, cocoated by fear. He set his hand on the fence, trembled mid-gesture, then let the world reel sideways, recoiling in respect or dread. Both. Memory wound into the story of his scars. Diagonal lines across his forearm, ink dark as night. Too deliberate to be bullet wounds, too arranged to be random. Some said survivors of lightning, or keys to a star map. Others said they were memories, carved in skin, names in a language nobody could pronounce. When someone asked about them, he looked away. His jaw set, neck taut. No answer came. Silence returned instead, and that was answer enough. At the control console, data from sensors dipped, then soared. The landscape trembled with recorded disturbances. Bursts of radio static, unearthly frequencies climbing off the charts, seeping into the seams of the earth. He leaned in, frame rigid, eyes reflecting ghost grids. My mind strained to fill the spaces he left unspoken. Was his intent to capture, to commune, to challenge what had rooted the place in darkness. A tremor in the metal table, faint but insistent, rasped along the bones of everyone present. Lights flickered. The scent of ozone. Heat rising behind the monitors. No one backed away, though some hands trembled at edges of grips. I looked to where he stood. A tether of light curled around him, so slight it might have been imagined. But there it was. An answering arc, a resonance, like a silent note that pulsed just beyond hearing. He exhaled again, slow, controlled, as machines sighed back to baseline. That small breeze of clarity drifted through the room. Eyes met his, flicker of something fathomless. The kind of depth that swallowed time. Afterward, the sight came alive with speculation and awe. He seemed woven into the land now, not so much a visitor as an axis of something older. People weren't the same after his presence shifted in their waking hours. They carried a quiet gravity in their footsteps, a cautious respect of the unseen. The night skies around him tightened into vigilance. They said once he'd lived in a monastery, learning hidden pathways between worlds. Others claimed he'd been part of clandestine government programs, surviving experiments that fractured his mind and rewove his spirit. I found myself staring at his footprints in clay, wondering if dragon blood ran in those veins, carrying memory from an era before history had names. He walked at twilight, tall and impossibly silent. The wind chased him, and the pale sage bent like slow worship. Cattle lowed in the distance. Wind thrummed fences, rattled a quiet lament. He paused, glanced upward, eyes tracing a constellation that wasn't any map I'd ever seen, one that pulsed faintly in response. Fingers brushed sky, as though touching that resonance. He turned away, retreating down the trail that glowed beneath moon frost, leaving nothing but footprints and charged stillness in his wake.